What's going on, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome to the UFC 327 recap, breakdown, reactions. Um, Man, I've had a busy weekend, a really fun weekend. Just got back from traveling, went to Charleston for the weekend from Thursday to today. This is Sunday, so as you can tell, I'm sunburnt. I've just gotten out of the shower. I'm honestly ready to go to bed, dog, but we got to crank this out, get the reaction out there. I know I didn't do a betting breakdown, but just for transparency purposes, because I always post that stuff, I ended up in the red for UFC 327. Not terrible. I had some really good reads, even ones that I felt like I made the right read, didn't go my way, that we'll get into. And then I had some that were just bad, off the top of my head, Kelvin Gastelum. That was my most confident pick from when I did my original pick breakdowns. And at first it looked that way. And then he gets caught in a Darce choker, anaconda, whatever it was, and gets submitted. So really disappointing KG there. Kind of on me, though, for, having the faith in an unreliable fighter to begin with. Another bad read for me. Well, not really. I don't know. I feel like I made okay reads, and they just didn't play out the way that we quite needed for me. Like, an example I have is Josh Hook at Curtis Blades to not start round 3 was a play for me, and I don't know how the fuck it didn't get to round 3 if you watch that fight. Crazy back and forth. Best heavyweight fight of all time, or at least, if not the best, and definitely one of them. I ain't mad at a play like that, you know what I mean? Because it was right there to be made, to cash, that is. Mateusz Gamrot and Espan Rivovic to start round 3 was a minus 280 parlay piece I had out there, and it was, 40 seconds away from cashing, so not super mad at that. Tatiana Suarez was a big hammer for me. Her straight up to win on the money line was a good piece, but I also had her to win by decision, the fight to go the distance. So, not really mad at that play. Lupita Godinez before had never been finished. I know there's a first time for everything. I just didn't think it'd be there. Suarez hasn't been a big finisher. She's dominated girls in the past, but not finished her. So I didn't see her getting submission there, but she ends up getting it. So, there were some fights where I felt like the reads weren't bad. Wish I would have went with my gut a little bit more with fights like Azamat Murzakanov, Paulo Costa. I really thought Paulo Costa would have a shot there, and it turns out he looks the best he ever has at light heavyweight and knocks out Azamat Murzakanov. But overall, wasn't a terrible card. I ended up in the red, but not by too much. Had some good reads here and there that were close to hitting, and the ones that did hit, salvaged what could have been much worse from the betting standpoint. So it is what it is. It's the first numbered card I haven't made money off of, so not going to be too upset about it. But hopefully we rebound this week for UFC Vancouver. So like I said, man, I've had a crazy travel weekend and been busy. Haven't slept the most through some of these nights, so I want to try to run through some of these quickly so I can get this edited and hopefully upload it tomorrow and I can get some damn rest. So anyway, first fight was Charles Radke versus Francisco Prado. Radke looked really, really good. Pretty much dominated this fight in all facets except for when he almost got caught in a guillotine in the 3rd round. I thought he was cooked then. It was really tight, and he even said in his post-fight interview that it was tight. So, good on him to show the heart to get out of that. He's on a 2-fight win streak now. I'm interested to see what they do with him because he's clearly a pretty well-rounded fighter. He can box on the feet. He's got decent power. The wrestling is certainly his bread and butter. He's working with Bilal Muhammad, so definitely getting some good reps there. So I think he's 35, so it's not like he's this young prospect. So can't really bring him up like that. But this guy is 5-2, I think, in the UFC. 4-2, maybe. I can't remember what he was. 5-2 now. And his losses are to Carlos Praches and Mike Malott. Praches is fighting for what seems to be a number 1 contenders fight against Jack Della Maddalena in a couple weeks in Perth. And Mike Malott is the headliner this upcoming weekend against Gilbert Burns. So really no sweat off his back in those losses. And now outside of that, he hasn't lost. Got the finish in his last fight. Very dominant, unanimous decision in this one. Again, outside of being caught in a guillotine for a little bit, gets out of it and dominates. So I'm interested to see what they do with him. You know, is this a guy where that's the prospect test? If you can beat Charles Radtke, you're legit. I know he's not ranked, but he's kind of on that fringe. That could be an option there. Or do you maybe give him a ranked opportunity? I think it'd be probably more so the prospect killer, because I'm guessing the brass probably doesn't like him for some of the shit he says. So, you know, maybe they don't want to push him because, you know, it's not like Josh Hoke who puts on this character and has a bit, but doesn't like say like cancel culture shit, I guess you would say. I think Charles Radtke's hilarious. So, you know, I don't give a shit about any of that, but I could see them saying like, you know, we don't really want to market this guy as much because he says some crazy shit. But either way, I'm interested to see what he does from here on out. Good fighter, 2-fight win streak. So hopefully he keeps ascending. And Francisco Prado, I think if he hasn't already, probably gets cut from the UFC. Not for lack of talent, just not really ready to be at that level yet. He's 23. So go on the regional scene 3-4 years from now, back in the UFC, I could see him really making a run. He clearly has the talent, just maybe too much too soon. So, but good win for Charles Radtke there. Next fight, obviously, Kelvin Gastelum gets choked out by Vicente Luque. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I mean, KG actually made weight, was looking good, and I thought he was going to either chin Luque or just outclass him with the boxing. Ends up getting caught in a Darce choke, and Luque, I think that was his first fight at middleweight, and he says he's going to stay there now. I think eventually he's going to get knocked out here, but good for him. I mean, battle of the OGs, but man, Kelvin Gastelum, he didn't get finished by fucking Joe Pyfer, and Vicente Luque finishes him. That just shows you how volatile MMA can be sometimes, but good win for Luque, and KG's on the banned bet list. So, next fight, I don't know how the fuck this was a draw. It was originally read as Padilla 29-28, 29-27 on 2 scorecards, and 28-28 on the third, which gave him the majority decision. I don't know how this keeps happening. This is another one. I mean, Bruce Buffer, if he's reading the cards incorrectly or what, but if you remember the Tyrell Fortune and Marcin Tybura fight, he read it off for Tybura at first. Then they brought Fortune back into the cage and read off the correct decision. So I don't know how this keeps happening. I also don't know how the fuck it was a draw. This is obviously with a little bit of bias because I took Chris Padilla. I had him by decision, by KO decision, and Padilla money line. And the money line pushes, but those exact method of victories lose if it goes to a draw, which is, I get it, but it just makes me salty. So this went from being a fight that I cashed on all fronts on to one where I cashed on nothing. So I was really frustrated. I don't know how this keeps happening. This is the second time now. This should never happen, honestly. Like, the scorecards should be accurate when they turn them in and when they get announced, and that should be it. But somehow this goes to a draw. I thought Chris Padilla won. Obviously a little bit of bias there, but I think most people watching that would agree. I think he was doing the way more damage, putting on the pressure. It was definitely close. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't close, but I thought Padilla won that fight by decision 29-28, especially with the point deduction. Should have been 29-27. I don't know how. This is telling me without the point deduction that Medeiros would have won by split decision. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Majority draw. Stupid result. Next fight, like I mentioned, Tatiana Suarez. This was one of my more confident picks at a -155 price tag. I could not resist, and I was all over it. And she got dropped or whatever happened in that first round, ends up reversing. Godinez winds up on top, and I thought won the first round, and then the second round gets the rear naked choke. Suarez, man, I mean, everyone's saying like, oh, she's past her prime, injuries and all that, but this is a girl that could very well get a title shot in her next fight. Don't see that really happening, especially it seems to be Mackenzie Dern versus Zhang Weili whenever the fuck that fight is ready to go. Do you give Suarez the winner of that, which I think would be Weili, give her a rematch and Weili dominate her the first time? Or do you make Suarez fight again? I would say she probably has to fight again, but who knows? She looked really good here. Not really mad at taking her by decision. Certainly not mad at taking her money line. Not mad at taking the fight to go the distance because, Like I said at the start of this, Godinez has never been finished. Suarez wasn't really a huge finisher, especially in recent fights, so not mad at it. At the end of the day, we were correct on our pick. Just missed the method of victory. But Suarez looked really good, so we'll see if she has to fight once more or if she gets at the winner of Weili and Mackenzie Dern. Mateusz Gamrot submits Esteban Ribovic. Ribovic was probably the most popular dog pick I saw all week, and I just wasn't buying into it. He got taken down a shit ton, and he has been taken down a lot in his UFC career. Mateusz Gamrot, this is a dude that's never lost twice in a row, and he has been at the top echelon of lightweight for years now. And, you know, he's got some wins on his record that have aged super, super well. And, you know, he's not like this super old guy that's clearly past his prime. Like, maybe, yes, he is past his prime a little bit at this point, but not to the degree of, you know, maybe a Gilbert Burns that we see this upcoming weekend. Like, he's still really, really good. He took that fight against Oliveira on short notice. I know he got submitted, but still, to go from that to fighting Esteban Ribovic, I thought was just too much. He absolutely dominated this fight before finding the arm triangle in the second round. Wish it would have lasted another 40 seconds for my betting purposes, but I definitely felt a little bit smart staying on the Gamrot side rather than going with what, like I said, seemed to be one of the more popular dog picks this week. And Ribovic, I don't know. I've never been like super high on him. I think Ribovic is good, but I thought this was way too much way soon. Mateusz Gamrot, this is a guy that's lost 4 times in his professional career. And those losses have been against some of the absolute best guys in the division, except for Dan Hooker. But he gets it done by arm triangle and shows that he's still game here. Please put him up against Paddy Pimblett or BSD in his next fight. I think both of those would be really, really good. And Kevin Holland, as the fight got closer, and Holland was the underdog for most of it. I think it closed at close to a pick'em, but he had that plus 3.5 point spread, and it was like minus 180-ish. I think it got to like minus 205 by the fight close. And I took that as a parlay piece. As disgusting as it was, I had a feeling, and I even commented on another MMA content creator's video, and he was really confident in Kevin Holland. And I was in the comments saying, like, I'm with you. As disgusting as it is, I am with you on Kevin Holland. Just felt like everyone's going to be fading him after his recent performances. It felt like everyone was going to be fading him. And I get it. You know, that D-Rod fight was terrible. Lost to Mike Malott. And you never know with Kevin Holland. Like, is he just doing this for a check, or is he really into it? Whereas Randy Brown, you know, yes, he got knocked out by Gabriel Bonfim, but he seemed like a fighter that was on the rise more. So, but to me, it just felt like a spot where Kevin Holland was going to come out here and shine. And I really, really hope or wish he would have locked up that Darce choke or whatever it was, because I took him by sub at plus 500, but ended up cashing on Kevin Holland. He was one of my most profitable fighters on this card, which I did not think I would be saying that in my initial breakdown. Kevin Holland moneyline, the spread parlay piece, he wins 30-27, looks amazing, looks some of the best he ever has. He wants the rematch with D-Rod or Mike Malott. I think it would make sense with D-Rod, maybe not so much Mike Malott, especially if Malott wins against Gilbert Burns, because he would then be in the rankings. But anyway, I commented on that video. Someone said I was dumb, and they couldn't wait to see how dumb I would look for when Kevin Holland, you know, loses and makes me look like an idiot. And then, sure enough, he looks, like I said, some of the best he ever did. So good for Kevin Holland. And thank you for being my unexpected, one of my most profitable fighters on this card. Really saved it for me. Could have been much worse without Kevin Holland. I did not think I'd be saying that. I thought it'd be the other way around. So next fight, Aaron Pico. Like I said, I've been looking for a chance to back Aaron Pico since his debut. He looked fucking good in this fight, especially rounds 2 and 3. Props to Pitbull for not getting knocked out, but Pico looked measured, clearly learned from his loss to Lerone Murphy. I seriously think, I know the chin issues are there. I seriously think Aaron Pico could be a guy that gets to the top 5, maybe even a title challenge later in his UFC career. 29 years old, is going to still be getting better. Clearly showed that he can learn from his mistakes, especially at the UFC level, where you're fighting the best fighters in the world. You can't always just employ that super pressure heavy style and, you know, throw caution to the wind because you're going to get caught like he did in his debut. Comes out. I know it's a 39-year-old version of Patricio Pitbull, so not a prime version, but still. Maybe you could give the first round to Pitbull, but rounds 2 and 3 definitely for Pico looked really, really good. The boxing was crisp. The takedowns are great. He's got super good timing with his level changes and the takedowns. So I was really, really impressed with this performance. And, you know, now he's in the rankings. I hope he continues to fight up in the rankings. I'm going to continue backing this guy because if he doesn't get caught, which I know is a big if, and you can say this about a lot of fighters, but if he doesn't get caught, he's going to be hard to beat for anyone because he is so well-rounded and good in all facets. And, you know, Patricio Pitbull, I think he could definitely just be a gatekeeper because he's clearly tough still. He's got the skills. But I was excited for this fight, and I'm glad Aaron Pico came through for me in a big way. So, main card opener, Cub Swanson knocks out Nate Landwehr. I mean, this is like the most fitting, poetic retirement fight. Like Michael Chiesa in his retirement fight gets the submission specialist, gets a first round sub. But this was truly the perfect send-off for a guy like Cub Swanson, who got a worthy dance partner, Nate Landwehr, who's willing to trade and go to battle. Cub Swanson, I mean, he looked like 28 years old in there. He looks so good. It's like, damn, he shouldn't hang it up. He can keep fighting if he fights like that and keep winning. But he gets the knockout in the first round. Gosh dang, dude. Sorry. I had Swanson by knockout at plus 300. I tried to get cute with another bet, and Swanson by knockout in round 2 or 3, which was plus 700. Should have done 1 or 2. I know hindsight's 20/20, but man, he looked good. I can't think of a better send-off or really a UFC legend, honestly. His whole family was there. This was just a perfect fight for him. So really high for Cub Swanson, a really likable guy, fun guy to watch fight. I don't know many people, if any, that dislike Cub Swanson, so really, really glad to see him get the proper send-off here in his official retirement fight. Next fight, this was one of the worst fights I've seen, especially this year. Two guys that have glass chins that seem to buy into that narrative of themselves because they were absolutely scared shitless to throw anything against each other. Dom Reyes wins by split decision. I was on Walker, not mad at it. Neither guy deserved to win that fight, but I get Dom Reyes probably was the more active fighter there in that fight, so I'm not mad at it. This was a shit fight, completely not what I expected, and it's why I really stayed off of the under 1.5 rounds. I said this in my original breakdown that was going to be a pick that I imagine a lot of people are going to be on, and sure enough, you know, it's like something seems like so plain and obvious in front of you, especially with fighting. It's like there's no fucking way it doesn't play out any other way than it does. This is a perfect example of that. Two guys with tons of knockouts and glass chins. Certainly someone's going to get knocked out. It winds up being a staring contest. So, shitty fight. Good for Dom Reyes, I guess, but not really. And then, thankfully, followed up by maybe the best fight I've ever seen, certainly at heavyweight. Josh Hogan, man, I thought it was going to be too much too soon, but boy, the speed was on his side. He was taking some shots too from Curtis Blade, so good to see that he has a chin, especially against these higher level fighters. I think Curtis Blades, if he was fighting against anyone other than Josh Hogan, probably would have just wilted and taken the TKO. But because he disliked this guy so much, he probably just the pride to stay in it. Credit to him. Took a massive amount of damage. This was an awesome fight. Again, I had this fight to not start round 3. I don't know how it didn't, so I'm not mad at it. And I'm especially not mad at being able to witness a fight like that. I mean, an incredible performance. Josh Hogan now is going to be fighting Derek Lewis at the White House. I think he wins that one. I think he'll wrestle Derek Lewis, but even if he wants to stand there and trade, the speed's going to be extremely on his side, though. He's definitely probably not going to be able to absorb that many strikes from a guy like Derek Lewis. But we saw in Lewis's last fight, I think even if the damage isn't getting to him, his cardio at this point, he'll probably just give up in the second or third round if it gets there. But Josh Hogan now is going to be a top 5 heavyweight, which is crazy. I mean, this guy's on a meteoric rise. Love him or hate him, I'm kind of on the fence with him. Like, sometimes I think he's funny. Sometimes I think he's annoying. You're going to tune in to watch his fights regardless. So we'll see how he does at the White House. I think he probably beats Lewis, gets to 10-0. And then from there, probably fights Waldo or fucking Alexander Volkov And if he beats one of those two, he fights for a title. So it's crazy to think about. But this fight was incredible. Josh Hoka gets $200K in performances. This was fight of the night and performance bonus. And absolutely well-deserved. So the co-main, like I said, Paulo Costa, and I'm kicking myself not for just taking him outright. I took him on a spread. I had a bonus bet on him to win by decision at plus 460, and I thought it was going to be there, but he gets the head kick KO of Azamat Murzakanov. This dude is going to be really, really good. He seems to be a problem at 205. You know, like we'll get into with the main event, with the state of light heavyweight, is he going to be fighting for an interim title right away? Or if Olberg's injury, which it looks like it was a torn ACL, so I don't buy into the fact that it might be not as serious. I think Olberg's going to be out for the rest of the year, probably start of next year as well, which fucking sucks. But does Costa deserve to fight for interim gold right away after one fight at light heavyweight? I mean, you can make that case because he's marketable. He's been in title fights before. So, you know, we'll see, but goddamn, did he look fucking good. I think Murzakanov can bounce back. This was just his first loss. However, he's not super young, so, you know, he's got to get back in there fighting high-level competition fairly quickly. Otherwise, it's just going to be, he's going to lose the speed and stuff as age gets to him. But Paulo Costa, I don't know what Magomed Ankalaev's up to, or, you know, we'll see what happens with the Bogdan Guskov and Jan Blachowicz fight, but I would not be surprised if we see Paulo Costa fighting for a title at light heavyweight this year, which is crazy to think about, but goddamn, he looked good. So we'll see where he goes from here, but yeah, I'm kicking myself a little bit for not just taking him outright. I did have him on a spread. I did have a bonus bet on him to win by decision. I know that one didn't cash, but I thought he could give Murzakanov some problems, and I didn't think, you know, he's got kind of a granite chin too. I didn't think Murzakanov would be able to get him out of there, which in a point fight at that rate, definitely gave Costa a decent chance. So kick myself a little bit, but man, he looked good, and I'm interested to see what he does now at 205, if they give him an interim title shot or if he has to fight one more time. And then the main event, man, listen, I like Jiří Procházka too, but you can cry me a river about this whole, the mercy thing is some of the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard. Like, it's retarded. I'm not gonna like mince words here. Like, you are in a cage fight, you're fighting for a fucking title. Like, I don't want to call it ego, but put like the samurai warrior persona aside and just go and fucking do your job. Like, and everyone's like saying they're like giving Jiří credit or whatever for wanting to go to win it on his own shield or whatever you want to say. And everyone's sad because Yuri's a fan favorite, and I get it too. I like Jiří. But like, bro, give some credit to Carlos Olberg. He didn't play into Yuri's game. He was going to stay on the back foot, especially on one fucking leg. And wouldn't you know it, a check left hook, which is what I said in my pick, that I could see because Jiří is so hittable early. And Carlos Olberg's got a nasty left hook, not to the level of Alex Pereira, but goddamn, I mean, he set Jiří Procházka down like that, more than what Alex Pereira did. So, sure enough, left hook gets him out of there in the first round. I had Olberg money line by KO in round 1, 2, or 3, KO in round 2, which was plus 1,000. It would have been so close, but obviously this fight would have gone to round 2. It would have probably been called off by the doctor because of the injury, but I'm not hearing this mercy shit. I think that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You're in a title fight, you're in a cage fight. You got to go fucking finish your breakfast there. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I get there's adrenaline and I get whatever, but even if you just don't do nothing for the rest of the first round and just stand on the outside, kick away at him, whatever, it wouldn't have gone to the second round. The doctor would have called it off. So Carlos Olberg, I feel bad for him because it's like he wins the title. Now he's going to be out for probably over a year because it looks like a torn ACL. I feel smart, though. I took him. You know, I was in the minority for sure. But I was just like, Yuri's so hittable. So hittable early on. I'm interested to see who he gets next, especially if Olberg is hurt. It might be you know, an interim situation or whatever, or maybe even vacate if it's a serious injury and he's going to be out for a long time. So I feel bad for Olberg, especially at 35. It's like he gets his title and now he's going to be out for a year. So by the time he makes his first defense or gets back in the title picture, he'll be close to 37, which at these heavier weight classes, you can fight a little bit longer typically. But yeah, I mean, Yuri Prochazka, the collective fan base is disappointed, but I don't want to hear it, man. Showing mercy in a cage fight, unless the person's already knocked out cold on the ground and the ref is not stepping in, you not following up with an unnecessary shot might be shown as mercy. But as far as someone that's still standing there fighting, one leg or not, you showing them mercy and trying to play with your food or whatever it may be, to go out on your own shield, whatever, like, you got to put that inside and go get the fucking win. I don't feel bad for him. I really don't. And that's someone who likes watching Yuri Prochazka just like anyone else. But as someone who picked Olberg, not how I saw it playing out, not how I thought it would win, but, you know, one-legged check hook. But, you know, at the end of the day, we were right. We cashed for it. And even in a negative card for me, it felt like a big win to salvage something and get close to breaking even. So really, really fun card. A lot of good fights, a lot of fun finishes. So that's what we need out of these numbered card. And the only downside is now we have a new champion that's not going to be able to fight. So we'll see what happens at light heavyweight. But anyway, that'll do it for me. Like I said, I'll try to get this out on Monday, and then we'll do a picks video for UFC Vancouver this upcoming week. But yeah, that's really all I got. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty, you know. But anyway, that'll do it for me. I'll see you guys later this week for the UFC Vancouver breakdown. My name is Jake. Goodbye.